Yeah. So first of all, it's a great question. Love the question because we all need an entry point, right? That's an entry point into the world of work. So let me ask you this: have you all been to the career fair? Did you all go to a career fair? Okay. Did you actually shake hands with someone at the career fair? Did you get their name and number? Did you get their business card? Okay, you did all of that. So the best way to do it is one of those people the people you want to contact for the to see if there are opportunities?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to take that business card and email them. Does everybody know how to write a professional email? Yes, no? Hands up if you do. Okay, what should be in that email? Just shout out some things. What should be in the email if you're introducing yourself to somebody?
Formal language.
Formal language. Okay, what does that sound like?
Good afternoon, sir, ma'am.
I know if I see it.
Sorry?
I know if I saw it. I don't
Know it if you saw it. Okay, you just want to be very courteous, polite. Hello, my name is. I met you at. It was a pleasure to meet you, and then tell them something about yourself and why you're excited about their company or what they do. So you want to show your excitement in the email, and you want it to be brief, not a lot of words, but just a quick sentence about I'm excited because I'm interested in going into biology, and I'd love to learn more about any opportunities that you might have. Be sure to include your grade, because a lot of times with young people, employers will answer an email because it's like they like that a young person reached out. Okay, they like it. Feels good to them. It's like, hey, this young person actually reached out to me. I met her at the career fair. And I've got to let you guys in on the secret. Not many students do it. Not many students do it. So when they do hear from a young person, it's like, wow, that's really cool. She reached out to me. Okay, I'm going to get back to her. So does that help? Anybody else have?
From my experience, again, like I didn't really have, in high school, I wasn't really like trying to seek out like job opportunities like that, but I wish I did, because again, like you were saying that employers do like to see like, oh my gosh, this is a young kid, is trying to invest and do something for themselves, and I mean it depends. Like it's more like I speak from a government perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So like with the government, they'll take high school students all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like that's like the good thing. I don't know about private companies. I mean, you guys may be better than that, but the government always like on it. If you guys want to work DEA, ATF, like MPD, like things like that, they'll always open doors for young students like yourselves.
Okay, anybody else, Tom?
Yeah, sure. Like Leslie was saying, it's a rarity for a young person to show enough aspiration to actually reach out, right? The reason why it is that a lot of folks don't would be they're worried about rejection, right? They're gonna tell me, no, I'm young, I'm only a high schooler, or whatever it might be. But everybody in the world is connected within 6 people, right? And so good people wanna help good people. So there's not going to be any loss in doing exactly what Leslie said. If you meet somebody, reach out to them, introduce yourself, let them know what it is that you're looking for. Because if that's something that they can't provide, chances are they'll probably know somebody that will, right? Randy and I were just speaking. He was telling me that, he met was it Steve?
Steve.
Met Steve 30 years ago at a networking event. And now he's here speaking with you guys, right? So everybody is intertwined and connected, right? And you being able to forge those connections shows how important it is what you're looking for, and good people will find you.
The bit that I will add is this. First, I met Steve a few years ago. But here's the thing. I've hired hundreds of people over 30 years. Employers only hire people for one reason. We are hiring you to solve a problem. We do not hire you because you need a job. We hire you because we want you to solve a problem we have. So, if you meet a person at a networking event or a career fair, and you'd like to create, sometimes they don't have an internship or an externship. I get people who email me and say, do you guys have an internship or an externship? Now, I'm busy every day. I run a company with a lot of different employees and things, and I manage other companies that have employees. And I like high school students and interest, and like they said, not a lot of people reach out. But help me. Help me help you create an internship, an externship. Because I would love to have you come and work in my company, then I have to think, like, I gotta put that together, I gotta get one of my staff members to figure out what you're gonna do during the day or something like that. But, if you were to go to my website and just read what we do, companies are always advertising their new thing or what they do, and then so you could come and then specifically say, because your question was, how do you create an intern or an externship position when they do not have one? This is a copier company. I know it's the summertime, and I looked at your website. You guys are getting ready to print all of the flyers and everything for, I live in Manassas, the Manassas June Festival. I wanted to know if I could, come and help out and just learn how you guys do that for a week or two. Now, the copy company is about to get busy. And even if you say, I don't mind volunteering my time. Now, I think a lot of times now, most paid internships is not an uncommon thing now. But you come in there to help me with the problem that I have. I didn't have to go find somebody to solve my problem. You did the homework. You noticed that we were about to do something, and when you came and said, I know you don't have an internship, or I didn't see that you guys offered an internship or an externship, but I know you have this festival coming up. Is it okay if I shadow how you do that? Because I'm interested in doing something like that. Now, most likely, I might call you that day, because I'll go, yeah, that's exactly what I need. And then I'm like, she's in high school, and she told me she could solve a problem that I have before I even told somebody I got the problem. You want a job? Research the company and find their problem and say, hey, I can solve this, or I think I can help you solve this. You'll get a phone call or an email back.
If I can add just one last thing in regards to what he said. No isn't always no. In a lot of cases, it means not yet. There are a lot of prospects, and these are statistics, especially in regards to what it is that I do, in forging a relationship with someone that's like that. It's a closed door, it's a cold door, you don't know them. It can go up to 6 times. Within 6 times, though, usually there's a door somewhere, some shape or form that's going to open. So in a lot of cases, you don't get a yes. It's not a no, it's just not yet. So if someone says, no, I don't have anything right now, there's nothing we can put together for you, okay. Is it okay if I'll reach out to you in 6 months? When's the next most available time that you're going to get busy enough that might be an opportunity for me? And then when they tell you, then you make sure that you follow up, because persistence will get you in a lot of doors that you may not see yourself in. Does that make sense? So if they tell you that, then reach back out to them, and they will remember and find a spot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've been told no so many times, but it's patience and perseverance. That's what's going to get you through to success. I could attribute to like my life, and you just gotta keep pushing, guys. Right? I always say, Herndon is full of people that we just keep trying until we break down barriers and get what we want. So definitely take that mindset, that mentality. Like no is, it's just temporary. You'll find a way, and just always have a plan from A through Z. So if one thing doesn't work, you're always like dealing and through your A, B, C, D, and all that. So.
It depends. We actually had 3 interns last year. I think they were early college students. One was part-time, the others worked with us on a full-time basis for the time that they were with us. So it's going to vary depending on the company. It's going to vary.
So to that point, I guess I would go with time management. You can say maybe 15 to 20 hours. And one thing that I can tell you when you start an internship, so say that I don't know, we're a factory and we make tires. A lot of times when you do an internship or the job or the ideal job that you want to work with, you're not going to do that type of work initially. You might be doing like, hey, we need you to enter all of this paperwork into the system. And people are in the factory making tires, or if you come work with me and you think you're going to be on the trading floor and trading money and learning about investments and everything like that, and I'm going to be having you like, hey, call these people back and make sure that they're going to be here on my calendar on this day. And we will take time and talk about money, but the expectation, you may not do your internship may not be the specific job, but I promise you, whatever job you're doing, whoever you're working with started where they're teaching you. Yeah. And so it might be 15, 20 hours a week, and depending on your personality, your attitude to the work that you're doing that you didn't think you were going to be doing, it might give you more time. And if you don't like it and it comes across, they might give you less time.
So I'll just say I haven't started, I actually did start my own career coaching business, but the type of business you're talking about is very specific and very particular to a certain industry. I would really say you want to focus on getting experience in that industry. So I would start with retail. Retail is very accessible. Go in, get a part-time job with a retail store, learn what's going on with the customer, learn how they are putting the clothes out every day, learn what's happening, talk to customers, learn what customers want. I would start with that before you sort of focus on, I'm going to start my own company right away. You can also do both at the same time. You can learn to sew, you can begin thinking about your brand, begin thinking about what you love, but also get experience. Yeah.
One thing I would say, because I manage a lot of companies, whether they be startups or people buying and selling other companies, and I show them how to do that. And sometimes people say, well, where do you get the finance? You said the finance to do that. I often say, work for your competitor, the people who just sell clothes, like she said, understand how that works. But a big thing with finance is most entrepreneurs have great ideas. And I would often use the term, ideas are like rocks, they're everywhere. And so when you're an entrepreneur, you're really thinking about that your idea is the best, and it's gotta work, and people are gonna love it. That's not how you get finance. A finance company will give you finance based on, if your idea fails, how do I get my money back? So what you have to do in your ideal thinking process is, if everything goes wrong, how am I gonna pay back somebody? So like if you borrowed $1,000 from me based on your idea, and I say to you, what if the idea fails? You're gonna typically say, it's not gonna fail. It can't fail. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that it doesn't fail. I say, great, but what if it fails? How do I get my money back? Most entrepreneurs don't have the answer to that question. And if they do, the answer is like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get you your money back. But that's my $1,000. So I would say, figure out, if your ideal fails, how are you gonna pay somebody back? Knowing that that's not what you're focused on, but you just need to have that answer. If you got that answer, and now you can tell me how it won't fail, and what you're gonna do to make it work and everything like that, that's how you can get that finance. And you can also say, I worked at different companies, I know how they work this, I know about inventory, I know about so-and-so, I've interned at different companies. And you got paid to learn how to build your company, because you work somewhere else. But definitely have the answer. If it fails, how do I get my money back? Because that's all I care about if I give it to you.
I was also going to say that you should definitely seek internships and well, I think we already touched on it, depending on the type of style that you want to get into. So I don't know, I'm just going to throw out there, Tommy Hilfiger, try to get into getting into their design department, so that, you know, you could actually like curate ideas in your mind. I'm like, oh, all right. And then like just start like brand hopping. So you can see like from one extreme to the next, right? You know, for colleges, you know, I'm from Rhode Island. RISD is a good school for like design, for like things like that, like for like art. So.
Really good question.
Yeah.
In high school, I would say just get experience. Just get experience. It does not have to be in your interest. As you get further into college and beyond, yes, you want to try to get, you know, sort of go for those opportunities. But at the grade levels you are now, just getting experience is really important. Just get experience somewhere. Also, you can put that on your resume. Even if it's volunteer experience, that counts too. So.
Can I ask, what is your interest? Is it programming? Oh. So one of the things that I would do, or that may help you, is having been in this room, is to talk with Steve and talk with Jim, because if you're looking for experience and exposure, that's really what Harris Seeker does. And you know, assigning a mentor that's in that line of work that can actually do that. So, you know, to Leslie's point, you want to get experience, so you don't want to wait on the fence forever until this perfect opportunity shows up. If that doesn't show up, then get a job. And take that experience while it is that you're continuing to look for what your interests are. You can do both.
Especially with coding and programming, so many boot camps online. You can teach yourself. There's a ton of ways that you can start learning that. Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
I would strongly urge you guys to definitely in any job, like internship. Like I had my first internship as a junior in college. That's like way like you guys are like getting a head start on that. I would definitely, you know, the one person that you should really try to like, you know, to like she was saying to mentor you is like probably like the person in charge, right? Like so that you can seek knowledge from them, because ultimately I mean, you're gonna take something away from each job, and I think that goes into the learning experiences. So you'll learn something from, as each job goes on, you'll learn something new from another person, and then at the end you'll have like, you know, it's like Thanos, you'll have like all the stones, and you know, you'll go all about your business. So, but definitely one step at a time, and definitely try to like network, and you know, don't be shy to ask questions. That's the key. Don't be shy and ask questions.
The last bit I would give to you is that don't be so hard on yourself. I think, you know, the world we live in keeps telling you got to get it right the first time. They make you say that you got to win or lose. And life is not like that. You either win or learn. So when you fail, you learn. I am great at what I do. It's because I failed a whole lot. So we don't win or lose, we win and learn. You'll learn what not to do the next time. You'll learn that, hey, maybe I won't make that comment. You'll learn maybe I won't post that. You learn maybe I won't show up late again. You won't lose, you'll just learn. You'll learn maybe I'll take the next job serious, okay? And don't be so hard on yourself. You got a whole life. You're gonna mess up a whole lot, but it's okay, you'll get it right.
Tony, any last thoughts?
There's kind of a universal rule. It's either, you know, be humble or get humble. So it's very easy to say, I know that already, but you can't learn something that you think you already know. So one is to be an open book, while it is you're gaining that kind of experience. And lastly is that there's no exchange for good character. There are a lot of places where it is that I've been, or rooms that I've entered into, that had nothing to do with what it is that I look like on paper. But the intrinsic values that you bring, are you a hard worker? Do you have good character? Are you a person of integrity? Do you do what you say you're gonna do? regardless of what it is that you have that's on paper, or how whether it shines versus your peers or what have you, you'll surprise yourself because character will keep you around much longer than you think.
So I speak from experience. Like I went to community college, right? So like it's not a bad thing, but if you got the grades, why are you going to community college? Like I had a 2.5 GPA in high school. Yes, I had that, and a lot of y'all use that against me. Like you had a 2.5, but again, that's something. But if you have the grades, why are you going to? You can get scholarships, like for real. You just gotta find it.
To your last point, it's always been the thing, Nova's like the 13th grade. I know this. I mean, they have a great program, get you in any school here in Virginia, right? But you and I have spoken offline before, and in a lot of cases, the best time to jump is when you think about jumping. And Plan B, can take away from Plan A. So it depends on what type of person it is. You have to know yourself enough. If I go to Nova, am I going to get complacent and stay? Am I no longer going to take my shot? Or how badly do you want to take the shot? That's what I would say. Because the last thing that you want is 4 years to go by, you don't go, and you always wonder what if. So you want to know who, you got to look at yourself in terms of who it is that you are in doing that, whether that's the right thing for you to do.
I think, like you said, it really depends. I do give advice for people to go to community college. You get a 3.0, you can go to any college. Your first 2 years, go to any college you want. Most competition in entering college is the first year. You go to community college for 2 years, you save a lot of money. And you can go wherever you want. And you're taking a lot of your basic courses. So I think it just depends. As long as you don't let your passion wane while you're doing that and say that's a part of your plan, then I guess it might be a good idea. I can tell you, probably would have been a great idea for me. My freshman year, at the end of my first semester, I had a 1.56. I played a lot. So it just depends,
Yeah, so to that point, yeah, so like you gotta think of like community college as like the transfer portal. Like colleges are gonna definitely look at you like you're like it, as opposed to like someone that's just coming fresh out of high school because you already did it. I graduated community college with a 3.7 GPA. That's far cry from when I was like but I went there because I needed to hone my skills. Like I wasn't really a good student like in high school. I should have tried, but I mean now I look at it, I'm like I'm the most successful out of my class. So damn.
like you would want somebody to pick you.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, I guess, from the era I grew up, we always wear suits, Now, I can say a lot of people who I've interviewed, they don't come in suits and things like that. When a person comes in a suit nowadays, I'm pretty impressed by it. But, I think people have to change with the times. So, the phrase they use, read the room, If you were to visit the place first, and you walk into their lobby, what does everybody look like in there? And so then you could probably gauge, what's okay to do. And then it's not a bad thing to say, what is the required attire for the interview? Ask the question. Don't make it so hard trying to figure it out yourself. Just ask the question, because people appreciate that. As many people as I see who come for interviews, I would love it if a person asked me, what's the attire? I would say, business. And then they would understand. And then I would elaborate. That means like wearing a suit, wearing, nice presentable clothes, not t-shirts and type things like that, And showing up for what I do to show me how creative you are by the way you dress probably won't work well.
I'll speak on it. Who feels better when you get a haircut, when you get your hair done? Just these 5 people? Alright. When you get a haircut, or you get your hair done, you instantly feel better about you, right? So Randy had a great point. Ask the question, read the room, all those things. When you do that, it's about the difference for me when someone walks in a suit, and if somebody walked in for an interview and they're wearing a polo, is what that says about what they think about themselves. When you dress better, you dress well, it exudes a confidence that you have within yourself, right? So if someone shows up to something and they're wearing pajama pants, how seriously do they take themselves, right? So I would also keep that in mind because, especially as a young person, you're always looking at how is it that other people see me. And so just in a quick switch in reverse is what is it that you think about yourself, and your dress will exude that more than you think. The reason why I say that, when I started in financial services, I was 21, I couldn't grow facial hair if I tried, I was a baby-faced kid. And so I would get, like clothes from like Burlington, the dress shirts with the matching tie that's in it, it's a clip-on or whatever, it's right. And one day, I stayed at a friend's house, and I borrowed a fitted Tommy Hilfiger shirt. It's light blue. And I've never gotten more compliments. It fit everything, it wasn't baggy, anything like that. And I wore that day, and that day, everything switched. I felt better about myself, and so from that point on, I took steps of dressing better.
There's an old adage, it's easy to remember, if you look good, you feel good, if you feel good, you do good. So if you remember that, that's helpful. It underscores many of the things that you guys had to say today.
I'll just add to this. This is all great advice too, but I think too, just if you're wondering if the outfit you picked out, if you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if this is too casual. It probably is. You want to err on the side of being more dressed up more formally. When I was growing up, any kind of interview, no matter where you were going to interview, you wore a suit. Ladies, stockings, heels, suit, usually a skirt, blouse, and a coat, a blazer. Now, obviously today we're not that formal. We're not still that formal. We're not there. But err on the side of being dressy versus not dressy. And just to add to what Tony was saying, when you show up, you're communicating a lot about your confidence in yourself, but you're also telling them how seriously you're taking this opportunity. So if you show up in sort of cutoffs, or sneakers, t-shirt, you're like, I'm here for my interview. Hi, nice to meet you. You're not really communicating, I really want this opportunity and this means a lot to me. So.
Other questions, concerns? To think about concerning relationships, should one way to get ahead have an objective of making my boss my best friend? Are there any rules about relationships that carry over from work to outside work and vice versa? Those are considered boundaries. The other aspect of boundaries that some of you have talked about is in sort of if there's a hierarchy, some organizations have more of a hierarchy than others, but if there's a hierarchy and someone is 2 or 3 levels above you, your boss's boss or your boss's boss's boss, then does everybody call each other by their first name? Is there a informal, casual feeling around the office? Or does the way people relate to each other affect that hierarchy or that structure in the organization? Are there some people that and you get to know individuals, sometimes it's down to the individual. Some people see certain signs as a lack of respect versus an endorsement of respect. Does that help?
Yeah.
Those are kind of some of the things, the discussions we've had in smaller groups. Any questions around any of that? Does all that make sense? Do you all have a good handle on that? Are there any questions about how that may differ based on certain career fields or certain jobs?
Well, if I could give some feedback on that.
Sure.
Now that I understand that. You guys are, I can't say you guys, we are in an age of expression through all different types of social media platforms. Even some of the basic jobs, whether you work at, Marshall's or Burlington or even at a fast food, employers now are looking at your social media to see who you are. Because a lot of times when we're in an interview, we're representing something different than we would do on a regular day. Now, you're a different person at home with your friends than you are at school, at the same way at work. So be mindful of that. People are looking at what you put out there, who you say you are, what you do in your spare time, and then you come to their place of work and say, hey, hire me. So be mindful of that. And then also think about this. You're gonna make a lot of friends. Some of my kids worked at at the water park and things like that, and they would have buddies and everything. And I remember my youngest, he was really good at working hard, but he was a jokester. And then they gave him a position of like seniority, like he was like the senior cashier, at Splash Down in Manassas. And he said his friends would always give him a hard time when we talk about boundaries. I think learning how to be friends at your job, but doing your job in a friendly way. You still have a responsibility. You remember I said, people only hire you to solve a problem. And if you let your friends get in the way of you being that solution, it makes it hard on your relationship with your friends. It also makes it hard on your relationship and being able to keep your job. So that's something that you may want to think about as well. You don't have to be mean to your friends. That's why they call them friends. But just if your boss says you're gonna be the senior cashier, you can tell your friends, I know we joke, but I got this position and I can't lose my job, behind that. So you might have to figure out that social media, and then how do you, still keep your friendships, but still do the job you want to do.
I would strongly urge you guys to definitely, in any job, like internship. Like I had my first internship as a junior in college. That's like way you guys are like getting a head start on that. I would definitely, the one person that you should really try to to like she was saying, to mentor you is probably the person in charge, right? So that you can seek knowledge from them, because ultimately you're gonna take something away from each job, and I think that goes into the learning experiences. So you'll learn something from, as each job goes on, you'll learn something new from another person, and then at the end you'll have it's like Thanos. You'll have all the stones, and you'll go all about your business. So, but definitely one step at a time, and definitely try to network, and don't be shy to ask questions. That's the key. Don't be shy and ask questions.
The last bit I would give to you is that don't be so hard on yourself. I think, the world we live in keeps telling you got to get it right the first time. They make you say that you got to win or lose. And life is not like that. You either win or learn. So when you fail, you learn. I am great at what I do. It's because I failed a whole lot. So we don't win or lose, we win and learn. You'll learn what not to do the next time. You'll learn that, hey, maybe I won't make that comment. You'll learn maybe I won't post that. You learn maybe I won't show up late again. You won't lose, you'll just learn. You'll learn maybe I'll take the next job serious, okay? And don't be so hard on yourself. You got a whole life. You're gonna mess up a whole lot, but it's okay. You'll get it right.
Tony, any last thoughts?
There's kind of a universal rule. It's either, be humble or get humble. So it's very easy to say, I know that already, but you can't learn something that you think you already know. So one is to be an open book, while it is you're gaining that kind of experience. And then lastly is that there's no exchange for good character. There are a lot of places where it is that I've been, or rooms that I've entered into, that had nothing to do with what it is that I look like on paper. But the intrinsic values that you bring, are you a hard worker? Do you have good character? Are you a person of integrity? Do you do what you say you're gonna do? Regardless of what it is that you have that's on paper, or how whether it shines versus your peers, what have you, you'll surprise yourself, because character will keep you around much longer than you think.